Um, Another video today for wall building, or I guess base building tips. I'm not really sure what I'm going to call this, I'm going to be honest, but we'll get into it. And basically, it's just around base building and base design and structuring. There isn't too many things I can give you guys as tips here, because most of it will just be like experimentation and working it out for yourself. Because while some things are very optimal to do, they look terrible. Like, it looks really ugly. And people generally, I feel like, prefer building something aesthetically pleasing and just holding it with really high stat um, people rather than having low stat people defend a town that's very safe or something like that. But I'll show you guys what I know anyways in terms of defensive structuring. So I've placed this ahead of time because it's a pain to build. Like, it's a real pain to build. But I'll show you guys quickly kind of the design behind a quote unquote safety base. So we don't have water here, which would make this infinitely better. If you have water near your base, put your gate in the water, and that's it. You've basically made your base really safe, because they're going to have to swim up to your gate and put some walls around that, and you've basically got shooting fish in a barrel, but fish in a pond. But this is for without water. So what you're going to want to do, and it sounds weird, but face your gates inwards. Except this one. This one faces outwards. But face your gates inwards. So this is my outer gate here. This would be the approach to my base. This is how you would walk into it. You would walk into this tiny little tunnel if you're an enemy, and you would start bashing down this gate right here. And this gate would be covered by a crossbow here, 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 right? You would get as many crossbows as you possibly could. I've made this very short range so that they basically can't miss, right? The closer you are, the easier it is to hit. You don't have to do this. I just do it right here because why not? I've built all this in Shift F12, so this doesn't actually cost me materials, and I don't need to learn the tech and everything. But they would smack down this gate, right? Let's say it's like 30 hungry bandits, or heck, let's go with a crazy number. Let's say it's 50 hungry bandits. They'll beat down this gate in a couple seconds, pretty easily. But in that time, I might kill 6, 7, 8, or 9 of them, right? With the crossbows that would be here. And if it was bigger and there was more crossbows, I would do so even quicker. And they'll get through this gate, and then they'll all of a sudden be greeted with another gate. And more crossbows. That's why we've got this triple gate set up like this. And this one's facing outwards so that the walls can connect to it. Otherwise, you can't connect the walls to it. They won't snap. It'll get really funky with that otherwise. They'll start speeding down this gate. Now there's 40 of them because we've killed 10. And they'll be pelted with even more crossbows. And now there's another 13 of them down, let's say. And they get through this gate finally. And then they go through and they have yet another gate to deal with. And even more crossbows that'll be lined all up on your walls. They aren't going to get enough people through ever at that point that it matters. And here at your final gate, you could have all your repair people sitting behind, repairing the gate while they're beating on it. You know, they're not going to have the numbers anymore to push through that. Not that starving bandits are all that dangerous to begin with, but you understand my point. And then you'll have the rest of your base set up here. You can throw in some more gates. You can even multi-tier your defense. So, oh, I want another thing here. You know, really big walls. You'd put up. Okay, I have to snap that to the gate first, aren't I? Nice. There we go. Hold on. There we go. So here you'd have like another keep, you know, you can multi-tier that stuff. Boom. You know, another safety fallback position. You'd have an opening here, something like that, you know, you could shoot in. But yeah, you can multi-tier the crap out of it. Basically, make sure your walls are facing your gates. Like, that's the big gist of this. If you have walls like this is a bad wall. Because I placed it very, very quickly. This is a bad wall. Why is it a bad wall? Because nobody here is going to have any meaningful line of sight. I'd rather place a wall that goes... Oops. I'd rather place a wall that goes... Oh, come on. Thank you. Like this. Why would I rather have this wall? Because this wall is directly facing onto this. I know it sounds simple for most Kenshi vets, but people that are new to the game will just build a fort, a square fort, and then none of their crossbows will be able to shoot at their gate. You want your crossbows to have easy line of sight on your gates. Another thing we can do, we're just going to exit that for a second, and then shift F12. Yes, it's my screenshot button. I know it's annoying. I'm sorry. Another thing you can do, let's say we have a gate here, and let's say we have our base built, as I say. Okay, that's a bad wall again. See, I'm guilty of it too. I place bad walls as well. Say we have our base built up nice and proper, you know, it's fairly safe. You've got that big compound feel, you know. And let's say you've got a multi-tiered defense. There will be a gate here, there'll be a gate here, etc., etc. And they keep getting through, and you're struggling to hold your last gate, and you know that your repairmen aren't able to cut it. Well, what about placing another wall just in here? Why not? You can do that. They can shoot through the gate. Place some crossbows up here, put a ramp up, put your people up here. Boom, now they have easy shots on a gate. So you can also do that. You don't just have to guard your gate from the front. You can guard it from the back too. You can easily put some crossbows here and they'll shoot through the gate. And then you'll have double the crossfire. So that's another little thing that you guys can do. It won't necessarily look pretty, but hey, it'll keep you safe, right? And the goal in Kenshi is to survive and then eventually thrive. Another one, I'm just going to delete all that. And another screenshot, amazing. Another thing you guys can do, and I see people do this a lot that are very familiar with base building, but I know new players don't know this. A lot of people will place buildings, finish placing the building, finish building it, and then what they'll try to do is they'll try to incorporate that building into their walls. And I know you guys are probably guilty of it as well, because I'm guilty of it. And you'll get this. You see that little red pop-up? You can't place here. That will never get built. Ever. Now, to avoid this, I'm going to show you guys the coolest thing I learned about base building. This is my favorite thing to do as well. Is make sure you don't finish building your building. Okay, this one's crooked. So I have a mod called Slopeless, so I can just make it even. There we go. So when you're building your building, let's say we want the station house to be like our main approach to the area. Let's say we want that, right? When you're doing this, you're going to be placing your station house and you're not going to press confirm or anything that you're done building, right? You're not going to do anything. You're going to place a gate. Let's say we want our gate. Let's say we want it to shoot at the side of our gate. Okay, we're going to have to face that a little bit. Like this. Okay. I'm going to raise it up a bit. And I'm going to place that like that. Okay, perfect. And then we want our walls to clip into the building. Well, now, all of a sudden, that's done really, really easily. You see that? As long as you don't have your building placed, you can go through this entire thing nearly and you know, place walls. Like, you want this for some reason? There you go. You can do that. Do you want walls? Let's say you want to get funky with it, right? Let's say, okay, that's a little close. Let's say you want to get really funky with it, and you want your people to walk in front of walls, in front of your little station house. Okay, these walls look ugly as sin, but just ignore that. Okay, I can't ignore it. I'm sorry. Just down. Plus and minus for like moving stuff up and down. It says it at the bottom right there as well, but this is how you kind of even out the walls. Okay, let's say you want this, right? And I'll confirm it. Boom. Now this is all walkable. This is all walkable by your people. You can have crossbows here, and you can have crossbows on top. It's really cool. You can do some great aesthetically pleasing builds with that. As well, in the same line of thought, is that you can, let's say we want a snail house. Okay, this is a lagoon snail house. Can I get a regular snail house? Thanks. Let's say we want a snail house, and we'll place it. Also, yeah, you can do that with buildings, right? So if you have placed something, it's not the end of the world, right? You don't have to necessarily dismantle it, because you could do something like, okay, and also the snail house doesn't have a crossbow there, so we'll do something like that. Let's say you want some funky things with the snail house. Where is the watchtower? You can also place like a watchtower right next to it, you know? Let's say you want a snail house combo with a watchtower, or let's say you want a watchtower right here, you know? You can clip that in a little bit. There you go. And now all of a sudden you have a very, very front defensible base. You can have crossbows up here shooting down. You can have crossbows over here shooting down. You can have crossbows on the wall shooting in. You can have crossbows on the station house also shooting in. This makes it 10 times cooler looking, in my opinion, and more defensible. Really, really easy stuff. Just remember not to place the buildings until you're finished, because now, if I want another wall, for example, it probably won't let me. Unless the building isn't actually placed. But yeah, see? Now it won't let me. It will not let me. I would have to deconstruct this house, place it again, and then I'd get to swing it out. You know? Like, how cool would another wall be right here, swinging out in front of this? You know? And in the same line, this won't let me place close to it. You see that? Like, make sure you fully plan your build out while it's still in planning mode. Don't place anything until you're final and certain that that is what it should be. Because otherwise you're going to get this red stuff and it's going to be annoying and you can't properly build. And let your creative freedom flow, because bases can be really fun. And I know a lot of players don't like getting to the end game of Kenshi because it's just you sitting in your outpost. Another tip for you guys, and this is the last one I'm going to give you, is if you make everyone leave your outpost, and I mean every single person, so that the cell loads out, they won't actually raid. It'll never get raided. As long as there's no one in your base, the base won't get raided. So you can still go freely adventuring once you've got this cool ass base that looks fantastic and you've done all kinds of things with. That's pretty much it for me, guys. Like, I unfortunately don't have very many building tips, as when I build, I generally just build something that's really aesthetically pleasing and it looks cool to me, so I'll do stuff like this, and I'll clip things inside each other. And of course, this is badly clipped. Like, I would have to move this a bit back. I'd also have to level out the tower, because now it looks like the Leaning Tower of frickin' Pisa. But just make it so that it just barely clips, or that it just clips a little bit, and then it'll look great. You'll get some really funky self-built structures. Hopefully Kenshi 2 retains that, because that's probably my favorite thing about base building. Well, that's your base building tips for me. I don't really have anything else for you guys. I'm very terribly sorry. But I'll see about... Who was it that said that? I'm going to give a shout out to that dude, because he's very kind. Dyrivan, thank you so much for your comment that you left on my Kenshi crossbow training. For would you consider doing more Kenshi coverage? Would be awesome to see guides for cats base building, which is what we're doing now, so thank you for that comment, or a playthrough. Now, if you guys want to see a playthrough from me, I might do one. I've no idea what my goal would be in a playthrough though, but we'll figure that out. If you guys do want to see a playthrough, leave me a comment or something that says, hey, I want to see you do a playthrough, a full playthrough of something. Maybe my goal can be establishing a city or something. Who knows? Anyways, thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a great day. Till next time. See ya.